to be happy. And today I want to talk about happiness to start with, because we all want to be happy, right? If we can just get that one next thing we can buy, or we reach that next goal, or we go live in that house, or we go and drive that car, or we have that experience, then we know then we're going to be happy. I want to be honest with you. A lot of preachers will not. People that say money and all that it will buy cannot buy happiness. You heard that before? Right? And sometimes when we know that that's true and we tried to buy something and it lasted for a little while and we wanted the next thing, we kind of nod with that too. But let me tell you something though. Money can buy you some happiness. People say money can't buy you happiness. They're talking about Confederate money. Now some of you out there going, this is a weird thing for a preacher to be saying. Oh, absolutely, it can for a little while. That meal that costs $50 to $100 will satisfy for a while. That place that you go live in, it will satisfy you until it needs painting again. Or that car that you really, really wanted. And I've had several of those in my life, and I've destroyed 2 or 3 of them after I loved them so much. Unfortunately, to my chagrin, I would say. My dad was right when he told me when I was 18 years old. After 2 months, a new car the smell is worn off, and there's a car payment. Right? Are you with me? Everybody's like, oh, you understand what I'm talking about, right? Happiness is when you walk into the express lane and nobody's there, and you get to go because you know how to count to 10 or 20 or whatever their limit is, right? There is such a thing as happiness, but happiness is based upon circumstances. I think I just destroyed that microphone. Happiness is based upon happenstance. When the lights are all green, I'm happy. When the express lane is open, I'm happy. When the people that I love me back, then I'm happy. When I've lost the weight that I wanted to lose the weight, then I'm happy. Then we eat cheesecake again, right? Then I eat the chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream. Incidentally, in heaven, I'm thinking calories are going to be reversed. I think broccoli's going to have calories, and chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream is going to be like -1 or something, right? Oh, boy, I love that stuff. I just had a moment there. Thank you. So happy. Happiness is so important that those that are in the world that you look up to because of who they are, where they've come from, desperately want it. Do you know that at Harvard University, the #1 class that's been taken for the last decade is the happiness course? Because these students who are the elites of the elite in this pressure cooker environment are begging for some kind of relief. I have a friend of mine who's a counselor, and she used to be at, I will just put it this way, one of the most prestigious, almost like an Ivy League college of the South. And she was the director of counseling at this particular place. And she had 4 counselors that worked for her, and there were about 1,800 students. And she had 2 or 3 other people that were either chaplains or people that also give counseling. She saw people all day, every day for the 10 to 12 to 14 years. I can't remember how long she worked there. There is an essence to happiness, and I'm going to go and give you some. I'm going to teach you today how to be happy. Then I'm going to teach you something even better, how to be blessed. So how do you do this? According to the field of positive psychology, which is a new thing now, it's not just kind of like positive pop psychology. It's now been verified through studies and macro studies over time. Here are 2 or 3 things that you can do that are going to make you happy. All right, so if you came today, this is the price of admission. This is going to be good. You ready? First of all, develop a gratitude list. Make it a note on your phone or write it down on paper. If nothing else, say it out loud every day. Decide at some point during the day, at the beginning of your day, or at the end of your day, or whatever, that you're going to name 3 things that you're grateful for. Here's what's going to happen. If you start with 3, you're going to go to 5, and you go from 5 to 7, because here's what happens when we begin to be grateful. We begin to see what we have and who we have and who we love and what we've been given, instead of what we don't have and who we don't have to love and what we've not been given. There's something about it. It makes your life better. Now, here's the deal. The devil's out there going, don't listen to him. Well, okay, don't be happy. So I want you to say this with me. I'm going to begin to be happy by having a gratitude list. I'm going to write it down. I'm going to say it with my mouth every day. And I said this in church. So if I don't do it, Some out there going, I ain't never saying nothing to him anymore. By the way, welcome to those of you that are here in the room and all those that are online as well. We have hundreds of people that watch from a distance as well, too. So thank you, God, for technology. We are a phygital church, physical and digital. Let's get phygital. Only people over 35. You know what I was talking about there. Sean Acor in this course also said something that's really powerful and has been verified by study after study after study of people. So here is the thing that will make you the most happy. You ready? This is the thing that will make you feel most fulfilled in your life because it has something to do with somebody else. Let me ask you a question. Is there somebody in your life that you really appreciate? Maybe there's somebody that's in the shadows. Maybe it's somebody that people don't know. When I taught University 101 at Gardner-Webb University, I still teach there in the public service department, psychology and counseling and stuff like that. But when I was teaching brand new budding college students, I had this class called University 101. And the very first assignment I would give is to write down the name of somebody that's been a hero to you. Now, I'm honestly, truthfully, thought this was going to be some famous celebrity or some famous athlete or somebody whose great book had been written and sold 700 billion copies or something like that. I really did believe that going into this. I was waiting to see who these people's heroes were. Without exception, except one person in 4 years, only one person wrote down somebody that was not a parent or grandparent or coach or teacher or friend. So here's what I would be willing to bet about you. There's somebody in your life that's just like that, that may know kind of that you had that effect on their life, but they don't know for sure. And so here's what the psychologists and the counselors and the best among the best educated have said in study after study after study. You take out a piece of physical paper, not just an email, and you write that person a letter saying, this is what I appreciate about you. This is what I value about you. This is the kind of effect you have had on my life. Write it down. Put it in an envelope for protection. Call this person. Find this person. And listen, we got Facebook and Instagram and Ancestry.com. You can find people who've been dead for 2,000 years. I mean, it's crazy. You can find people. And it's probably pretty easy for you to find those people that were those people to you. Let me ask you this question, though. How many of you know somebody like that in your life? Would you raise your hand? So here's what to do. Write the letter. Then call them and say, I want to schedule an appointment to come see you. You say, man, I'm going to have to go to Alabama. I'm going to have to go to China. Well, okay, maybe not China, maybe Zoom will work. But to schedule an appointment, to sit down across from that person and to read them that letter and then hand it to them to keep. That's what will make you happier than anything else. It didn't cost you $1 million, but it's something that comes from your heart. It's something that comes from your soul. So enough about happiness. I want to talk about something that's better. Happiness is based upon happenstance. Blessedness is based upon happiness on steroids. Happiness times applied resilience equals blessedness. That's what I mean by that. So Jesus gave a very famous sermon, and we're about to go through it, and it's going to take us all summer long to kind of comb through it. Matthew chapter 5 and chapter 6 and chapter 7. Welcome back, Nate. And he could have begun it in any way. Think about this. You're God in the flesh who's come to earth. You know you're going to give a sermon that's going to be written down Books are going to be written about it. But more importantly, the people in front of you, their lives are going to be changed in a culture where most people couldn't read or write, where most were illiterate. What do you say? What do you say if you're God and you know exactly what people need? Not just kind of, you know exactly what it is that they need. Not just another achievement, not just another zero in the bank account, not just another place to live, not just another place to drive, not just another thing. Instead, it's something inside of you that's going to affect everything that you ever touch, talk to, and interact with. Jesus knew that. So, in thanks to the folks that created the television series that you can stream, The Chosen. Anybody seen any Chosen episodes? So I'm going to give you a little bit of it. So we want to thank YouTube and thank for the rights, according to The Chosen people, that we can use this to show you. So today we're going to bring you Jesus with his most important teaching. He's going to teach you these 8 principles for life. Now, Jesus is not coming. And somebody that's acting like Jesus. But man, they do a good job. Take a look.
Matthew. Rabbi. I've got it. The opening? Yes. What is it? A map. A what? Directions. Where people should look to find me. Okay. Give me a moment. Ready? Rabbi? Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be satisfied. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall receive mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when others revile you and persecute you and utter all kinds of evil against you falsely on my account. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward will be great in heaven. Yes. But how is it a map? If someone wants to find me, those are the groups they should look for. And then? You are the salt of the earth.
thus we begin. So in this practice session with Matthew, I love the way they depicted that. Incidentally, if you've not watched The Chosen, I hope you're inspired now to go get it. How do you do it? There's an app. It's called The Chosen. They ask you to give $15 so that you can stream it. If you can't afford the $15, come and see me and I'll give it to you. Because they have humanized Jesus while holding on to his deity. Because we don't get to be deity. God lives inside of us if we have named the name of Christ, if we have turned our lives from our sin and asked Jesus to save us. But we're not God. Jesus was fully God and fully a human being at the same time. And today I want to talk to you about what it means to be blessed. If you prefer the old King James English, let's say it's blessed, if you would. Blessedness is so much more important to you and to me than happiness. And again, blessedness is happiness on steroids of resilience learned as a mindset over time. And here's what Jesus says. He could have started this message in any way, but here's what he does. Maybe we need it simplified even more for us. So let me read from Eugene Peterson's translation in the Message. Listen, just sit back. Listen. You're blessed when you're at the end of your rope. With less of you, there's more of God in his rule. You're blessed when you feel you've lost what is most dear to you. Only then can you be embraced by the one, capital O-N-E, most dear to you. You're blessed when you're content with just who you are, no more, no less. That's the moment you find yourselves proud owners of everything that can't be bought. You're blessed when you've worked up a good appetite for God. He's food and drink and the best meal you'll ever eat. You're blessed when you care. At the moment of being careful, you find yourselves cared for. You're blessed when you get your inside world, your mind, and your heart put right. Then you can see God in the outside world. You're blessed when you show people how to cooperate instead of compete or fight. That's when you really discover who you really are and your place in God's family. You're blessed when your commitment to God provokes persecution. The persecution drives you even deeper into God's kingdom. Not only that, count yourselves blessed or blessed every time people put you down or throw you out or speak lies about you to discredit me. What it means is that the truth is too close for comfort and that they're uncomfortable. You can be glad when that happens. Give a cheer even. For though they don't like it, I do. And all of heaven applauds. And know that you're in good company. Our prophets and witnesses have always gotten into that kind of trouble. So what's it going to be? Happiness or blessedness? I vote with my life for blessedness. So here's how it all began. This was kind of a preview. We don't know if Jesus actually practiced with Matthew, but it was a really cool way to do it. We know Matthew wrote it down, and he did it in detail. There's a very good reason for that. Matthew was a tax collector. He was somebody that had been reviled and persecuted with all kinds of manner of evil said against him because he collected for the IRS agency. But he was probably one of the few disciples that knew how to write. In an era where 90% of people are illiterate. He writes it down for you and for me. So here's the context. Seeing the crowds, he went up on the mountain. And when he sat down, everybody say when he sat down. When he sat down, his disciples came to him. There's something very important about the process of sitting down. Now, quite often, we have another podium up here, and I'll stand behind this podium, or Justin will, or Daryl will, or guest speakers will come, and we'll talk about the things that they said. We'll preach My wife always compliments me, and she says, "You're better when you speak instead of when you preach." My young son, he's not as young as he was, but he's still young in my view. He used to always say when he was a kid, "Hey, Dad, you did good today. You preached rough." I guess that means that when you're shouting and you're laying it down, that it's better. I'm dropping in this commercial too. For those of you that are watching from a distance and those in the room, we make a big deal about Mother's Day. Let's fill this place up on Father's Day. Deal? Because God's got some things he wants to say to us all the time. Everybody say, after he sat down. There's a reason that's important, because in the context, remember Matthew in this dialogue, he was calling him rabbi. Rabbi is a fancy Jewish word, or Hebrew word, which means teacher. When a rabbi sat down, it meant everybody needs to lean in and pay attention. The same thing holds true for you and for me, doesn't it? You've had maybe your spouse says, hey, we need to sit down and talk. You're going like, oh, crap, what does this mean? Your dad puts his arm around you and says, hey, so we need to talk. Let's sit down here for a minute. Your best friend who prays for you every day, we need to talk. Some of y'all came today just to hear that. That there's a conversation you need to have with somebody that you love. And you say, we need to talk. Okay, I'll talk to you. What you got? What you got? No, not while you're on the move. Not while you're doing something else. We need to talk. Sometimes when Andrea is telling me something, for those of you that are new, my name is Ray. My wife's name is Andrea. And when she wants to say something to me, sometimes she'll kind of walk in front of the TV with the game on or some political debate I'm watching or something like that. And she'll say, no, don't turn it off. I'll reach for the remote control. She don't turn it off. I'll say, I have to at least put it on silent or I won't pay any attention. After he sat down, his disciples came to him, and he opened his mouth and taught them, saying, think about what was it like when God opened his mouth on this earth? What was it like when Jesus opened his mouth? Did he talk loud? Did he scream? Did he talk kindly and gently? And here's what he said. So what is the way of Jesus that leads us to be truly happy or blessed or to live on resilience, happiness on steroids? What is the way of Jesus? Did you get what he said in the beginning? I've got a map for people. I'm sure Matthew was going to okay, I hope I can draw the geography of the place, and these are directions for people who want to find me. If you want to find God, this is where God began when he was on this earth. This is what he says is the essence of belonging to him. He says, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called the sons of God. Blessed are you when you're persecuted for righteousness' sake. For yours is the kingdom of heaven. Y'all, if I drop dead this week, and that's the last thing you ever heard me say, that's what you need to hear. This is what it means to be a disciple of Jesus. And it's so much better than just being happy. I like being happy too. Come along if you feel like a room without a roof. I know the songs. I sing them too. But Jesus wants you to be blessed. Blessed ones. There's a pathway though. I used to think that what Jesus did when he got on the Sermon on the Mount, he kind of walked around and went, Blessed are the poor in spirit. That's a good one. There's the kingdom of heaven. And then, Blessed are those that mourn, for they will be comforted. Oh, no. These are truths that are tied and tethered and chained together for us to be completely His. And it begins with this one. If I ever write a book about the first, it'd be Blessed or the Busted. Blessed or the busted. Let me ask you something. You know what it's like to need some money and reach in your pocket and see you don't have it and you forgot your credit cards too? Have you ever done that? When you're busted, you see that every month perhaps when you get to the end of your paycheck and you got more month at the end of your money. But let's not leave it at money. Let's talk about that which is more important, that which is permanent. In our spirit, there are all kinds of temptations in the life in which we live. To say, if I get skinny enough, if I have enough money enough, if I live at this address, if I have 2 or 3 addresses, if I drive that, if I go here, if I wear that, if I look like that, if my breath smells like Sprite mixed with Crest, maybe everything will be right. No, God's saying it's an inside job that's going to affect everything that you do outwardly. And it begins with Him. When you're busted, and when I'm busted, it means that I have nothing that's making me happy, nothing that's giving me blessedness, nothing that's saving me. I need you, Jesus. I need you as desperately as I need air to breathe. I need you as desperately as water to drink. I need you as desperately as food to eat. As a matter of fact, He goes there. Here's the second thing. I'm blessed when I'm heartbroken about the things that break God's heart. What breaks your heart? Is it because the people that you didn't vote for are in charge? I hope your heart's broken over things bigger than that. Is your heart broken over people that live in the woods? Mine is, and I know some of them want to live in the woods and they don't want anybody to tell them what to do because there's something broken inside of them. But we care so much as a church that we take money that you guys give and we prepare bags to give to them. When we see them at the end of exits or we see them at the shopping center at the corner. And they're wanting $5 from us and we're going to give them this. Our church prepared this for you because we love you. And we spend money on things like this. Your money. So you don't have to spend your own money unless you give it here first. They want to buy a drink and we had a drink for them. Water. There's 2 packs of Lance crackers in here too. You know Lance crackers like I do? Man, that must some of my favorites right there. But are you heartbroken over the things that break the heart of God? Are you heartbroken like 148 families were in the life of this church last year and decided that they were going to sponsor children in Sri Lanka on the other side of the world, and hundreds of others who sponsored them in Nicaragua and Guatemala and in Kenya and in Tanzania and in Uganda and to the ends of the earth? What breaks your heart? The things that just get on your nerves? Or do they break your heart? You know you're right with God when the things that are breaking your heart are the things that broke His heart. Broke His heart so much that He said, I've got to send my one and only Son down there to make it right. God was heartbroken because we had left Him. There's a stone that I've got carry in my pocket, and there's nothing special about it. It's just stone. It's not like it has some muju or juju on it or whatever. But it says, for God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son. It's just a reminder that whosoever believes in Him shall not perish but have everlasting life. For God did not send His Son into the world to condemn it, but to save it. God is not in heaven with lightning bolts ready to strike you down. He'll trip you up. He'll cause pain to come in your life and allow you to reach the end of yourself. He'll allow you to do that. But that's not His desire. Some of us have this idea of God. It's like this big old meanie up in heaven. And He's like an old grandfather with a long beard and a snarl on his face. And He's ready to smash you with zits. Bankruptcy. That is not the heart of God. Third, surrendering control. When Jesus says, blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth, it is the most miserably translated verse in all the English language. Meekness has this translation. I'm just kind of meek. I don't have any power. I'm just quiet. I sit over here in the corner. Introvert. Nobody loves me. Everybody hates me. I'm going to go eat me some worms. Meek. No, meekness means power, under control. It's the Greek word praotes transliterated from the Greek language. It means the very same thing as having the bridle of the horse in the rider's hand. God's saying you're blessed when you're powerful, but you understand this me inside of you that's controlling you and holding you back and helping you go and making you stop when you need to stop. Fourth, I'm blessed when I'm starved and I'm thirsty to do the next right thing. When you want to do the next right thing, have you had those things in your life to happen with you? I mean, don't you wish when you were growing up that your teacher would do the next thing, the next right thing, or your coach to do the next right thing, to put me in, coach, I'm ready to play. Look at me. I can be center field. Get me in the lineup. Don't you want your mom and your dad to do the right thing and to make a decision to get along with one another? Parents, don't you want your kids to do the next right thing? Here's the deal. For those of you that are adolescents and those that are young adults and those, I'm still kind of stuck in 7th grade, so I'm kind of there with you. Don't live for the day just when you can take a drink. Dang it. Hey, I can take a drink. I can kill brain cells. I'm an adult. Yeah. Now, the next right thing might be drink the water instead of something else. I'm blessed when I give mercy because I've received it from Jesus. We left a word off from there. I did that. They didn't do that. I've received it, if you're taking notes, from Jesus. When I've been given mercy, I become merciful. I'll show you a video in just a moment that will pull it all together for us. And then I learned to see like Jesus. So I'm doing like Jesus. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Back in 2006, this is a very long story. I want to make it last about 60 seconds. I got dehydrated while we were doing a service project in our community. I went to the hospital. They took me in. I was cramping all over my body. I couldn't stop cramping. And they came in, they took some tests, took some blood, and they said, hey, Ray, are you doing creatine? I said, well, I look like Mark McGuire to you. On my best day, I don't look like that. They said, you're in kidney failure. I'd gone outside, I got dehydrated, I was drinking the wrong things. Water and Diet Sundrop, but I needed something with electrolytes in it, okay? And here's what had happened. First, I started getting dehydrated and I started getting kind of woozy. And then my heart started to kind of twitter a little bit. Then my vision got blurry. For those of you that work in medicine, you know exactly what happened. My kidney started failing. And they said, you're in kidney failure, sir. And then my heart enzymes got messed up. Here's what happens when your heart enzymes get messed up. It affects your vision. Your vision gets blurry. Blessed are the pure in heart, but they shall see God. That took on a whole new meaning to me. And I preached about it the next week after being in the hospital for 3 days during our family's vacation time. Made me immensely popular with those that I live with. I came back the next Sunday and I said, hey, y'all, listen to this illustration. It cost me $11,000 at Care of My Health. And then finally making peace with God and others, not keeping peace. When Jesus said, blessed are the peacemakers, for they be called children of God, keeping peace is easy. Keeping peace is kind of like, you go to your corner, and you go to your corner, stay there. Peacemaking means we're going to get together in the same room, and we're going to hug it out and fight it out till we make it right. That's what peacemaking is. His punishment that brought us peace was upon him. And by his wounds we are healed. And then finally, enduring persecution for doing right in Jesus' name. Not just because of what you prefer. Not just because you didn't get your way. I'm being persecuted because it's taking me 30 minutes to wait for my nails to get done. And I don't get my nails done. Maybe you get your nails done, but you know what I'm talking about. I'm having to wait out here on a golf course that costs $80 million behind a bunch of people because they're going slow. I'm being persecuted. Or my favorite, you're in a car and somebody gets in a wreck in front of you and you have to wait for a while. Oh, that's my biggest sin. While I'm sitting in the car, I'm going like, I can't wait. I'm going to open up the window and say, you stupid people, why don't you learn how to drive as good as I do? And then God speaks to me in the Holy Spirit and says, you know, you've ruined 3 cars, Ray, completely in your life. And this is a worse day than you've ever had. It's a harder day for them than it is for you. Sit your butt down and work on your gratitude list. And so what does all this look like? I want to close today. I still want to give you a chance to beat the Methodist at the cafeteria. So this illustration comes from another movie about Jesus, from Jesus of Nazareth. And it illustrates everything we've been talking about better than anything I can say. So take a look.
What happened? Wicked adulteress! She's a sinner! Temptless law! Take shame on your husband! Take the husband, the slut! The law's clear! Stone her! She must be judged and sentenced. What is this?
She's a sinner, an adulteress. She's going to be punished according to the law.
Take her to the master. Stone her! Stone her!
Master, what should we do? This woman has been caught in the act of adultery. She should be punished according to the law. What do you say?
Answer, Master. We want to know your opinion.
Yes, tell us. Is it right to kill her?
He among you who is without sin, let him cast the first stone.
Come on.
Where are your accusers? Is there anyone here who's condemned you?
No. No one.
Then neither do I condemn you. Go. And sin no more.
Jesus brought all 8 of these things he said together in his example. They could have killed him for saying the wrong thing. I wonder what happened to her. When we get to heaven, I want to say, God, would you show me her Ancestry.com profile? Would you show me what happened to her afterwards? I have to think, because she knew what it was like to be busted. She knew what it was like to be ashamed and broken and thrown into the streets half naked, if not completely naked. Without the other person she was caught with, by the way, who may have had a stone who was stoning her. I have to think she got her life under control. I have to think she began to hunger to do the next right thing. I have to think that because she'd been shown so much mercy, she became merciful. I have to think that she became somebody who's making peace between people who needed peace to be made, because Jesus had made peace with himself and with her from the very beginning of her relationship with him. I have to think, because she had been persecuted for doing the wrong thing, that she was willing to be persecuted for doing the right thing. So what today? I'm indescribably blessed, and you are indescribably blessed when I follow the Jesus way. when you follow the Jesus way. So have you? Or are you still thinking I can get enough or go enough or climb enough or spray enough or get buff enough or stand tall enough or get awarded enough and then I'll be satisfied? No, you won't. And today you've discovered it. Today I want to invite you to give your life to Jesus. And every single one of us can take a step today. Now what is, so be ready to do the next right thing. For Nathaniel, it meant praying for Nate every day and writing it down in a journal. What's your next right thing? But for some of you, you got to get down to the beginning and say, I'm busted without him. Nothing else satisfies except him. And I'm going to take and step in faith that what you say, Ray, and what God has said from Scripture is true. So if you would, invite you in our last moments together before we close to bow your heads and hearts in prayer. If you're watching online, there are folks